All right, welcome to the Uintah County Commission meeting. It is the 11th day of March 2025 at 3:01 in the afternoon. This is the Board of Uintah County Commissioners meeting in the conference room. We have today for our prayer Sherry Bolton and Monica Hill for the pledge. Maybe. I'm ready. I don't wait for Ty anymore.
Sherry, you have a soft voice. Do you want to use the microphone? Is it on?
Can you hear me? Okay. Our Father in heaven, as we pause at the beginning of this commission meeting, we ask that thy spirit might be here in attendance, that it may influence the decisions that are made here, that it might be for the benefit of the citizens of our Uintah County. We're grateful for the beautiful spring weather and ask that thou would continue to bless us with the moisture that we need for the upcoming growing season. We ask a blessing of peace and protection on our law enforcement officers as well as those that are serving from our community in the armed forces. We'd ask for economic prosperity for our businessmen, cattlemen, petroleum industry, and farmers in our area. We're so grateful for the many blessings which we receive and ask that thou would bless us with unity as a community, that we might be aware of our neighbors and that we might be able to assist and serve. We're thankful for all of these things and say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you have your devices, make sure you make sure you turn them on quiet, please. And first thing we have a new individual working with us again now. Crystal, if you would like to present your new person.
Crystal Clark, IT Director. I would like to introduce Estella Valdivino. She's our new Desktop and Network Support Specialist. We are thrilled to have her. She's hitting the ground running and doing lots of good stuff already. If you want to reach her, extension is 449.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm very happy to be here, very excited. So like Crystal said, my extension is 449. If anyone needs anything, I am very, very happy to help.
All right. Thank you and welcome aboard. All right. Approval of the minutes for February 11th, 25 meeting, February 12th, 25 work session, February 18th, 25 meeting, February 19th, 25 work session, March 5th, 2025 work session, and March 7th, 2025 special meeting.
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we approve all of the minutes. Thank you. I would like to make a motion that we approve all of the minutes as have been presented.
Any discussion? It's quiet over here. I don't know how to handle this. Okay, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Lefevre, Commissioner Lefevre's tied up over on the west side, so he's excused for today. Another change we have is we have done away with the review and counter signature of certified list of claims, and now Mike will be requesting a
Approval of the warrants.
approval of the warrants, and they will be included in the warrants
After today?
From here
starting
on.
today, right now.
So with that, Commissioners, I have several sets of warrants. First one is February 21st, 2025 in the amount of $444,417.84. This one just had the regular contract payments and our U.S. Bank and regular bills on that one. The next one, Commissioners, is from warrants dated February 27th, 2025 in the amount of $2,000,000 $507,161.57. There's a very large check on this one I want to bring out. This is to the Central Canal Company in the amount of $1,819,017.61. This check will be held until we receive federal funds, as we are a pass-through agency, but we need to write the checks so we could get them submitted and go from there on that one. Next one, Commissioners, is check run from March 6th, 2025 in the amount of $1,892,876.58. This one also has a check for Central Canal in the amount of $1,493,646.72. Also, that is being held until we receive the federal funds to pass them through. And that is those check runs. So, Commissioners, I'd request your approval on those warrants.
Are we okay doing that?
Yes, I already cleared it with
Oh, you
everybody.
already cleared it with him? Okay.
This wasn't an idea of mine.
Well, I didn't know that, I'm sorry.
Okay. With that in mind, I'll call for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the warrants as have been presented by Clerk-Auditor Wilkins.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Any tax matters today?
Yes, I do, Commissioner.
Okay.
Ooh.
Just one page, I hope.
Okay, Commissioners, we have several homes on our tax sale this year. I've received, as of now, 4 homes requesting a deferral. The first one is serial number 050860053. This is their primary residence. These are their primary residence, and what it does is it pulls it from the tax sale this year, gives them another year to pay the taxes. I didn't write the request, the total amount on that one. That one's about $15,000 on that property. Next one is serial number 060990012. In the amount of their deferral they're requesting is $5,321.40. Next one is serial number 061160047. Total deferral request on that one is $2,676.46. Next one is serial number 051340034. Request for deferral on that one is $3,666.69. They've all pledged to make payments, and I would recommend the Commissioners that we do approve these deferrals for the 1 year.
Call for a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the deferrals on property taxes that have been presented by Clerk-Auditor Wilkins.
Discussion? Okay. Mike, these are all the first time these individuals have requested referrals. is
It's
that
not,
correct?
some of these are, as I refer to as frequent flyers every 5 years, but it is the first time for this year, and they qualify as their primary residence. They are 5 years delinquent, or their 5th year is delinquent, and they've requested additional time to pay.
Okay, thank you. Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Any tax matters back there? All right. Ms. Heeney.
Thank you for letting me come talk to you today. The Storytelling Festival will be next Wednesday, the 19th and 20th at the Vernal Middle School at 6:30. We have some national tellers coming. One man is from Appalachia, brings us banjo and sings and tells us stories. And the other woman is a Chickasha Native American that is coming to tell. We just appreciate the support from the commissioners this year and in the past. I gave you some tickets. Hope to see you there. They're really good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. From past experience, I can tell you they're outstanding. You need to go if you haven't. And you will toe tap while you're there, I'm sure. Okay, Buckskin Hills Complex with JENSEN Water Improvement District. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Lauren Anderson with the County Attorney's Office. Commissioners, we have before you an agreement with Jensen Water for an allocation of water that is currently used by the county. The county purchased these water amounts back in 2014, and we've had them since then. We originally purchased these with an agreement with Jensen Water that we would purchase so many water allotments. Jensen Water would have some of them, and then we would keep the remainder for Buckskin Hills. The first agreement with Jensen Water was signed in 2009. It was signed in September. The next agreement was signed in 2014. We obtained, in December of 2014, we obtained these water shares. It looks like we paid for them. On December 17th of 2014. As part of the agreement, the original agreement with Jensen Water, we were to attain these water shares within 5 years. We made that within a couple days. We were able to obtain those. Also, Jensen Water was supposed to put in some infrastructure to bring water to the Buckskin Hills. Jensen Water will have to explain what they did do as part of this contract. And then I have this agreement that we would transfer those remaining water shares that we agreed to, which would be 44. Originally, it was 50, but we were not allocated that many when we attained these. But I would just, the Attorney's Office has looked through this. We've agreed to this. We think it does comply with the original intent of the contracts back from 2009 and 2014. And we would ask you to sign this next agreement.
Okay. Jensen, can you come forth and explain to us what infrastructure you've put in, please? Hey, yeah.
Russell Thomason, Jensen Water.
Just for the note, Commissioner LaFever has arrived.
Oh, that's the one I wanted. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, to speak to the infrastructure, we're an afterthought. We did not put in the Buckskin Hills complex. So we're all aware of that. Matt, you know about this. We did not do anything inside Buckskin Hills. We were an afterthought. You guys needed a water delivery company, an improvement district. We were the closest one. You could have got Ashley Valley, but it would have cost a lot more money. So that's, in terms of infrastructure, that's it. Now within that Buckskin Hills, when we took working possession of it, you want to call it, there were 3 meters put in, 1 at the Speedway and 3 at the trailer parks. We were losing water left and right. We narrowed it down to the Buckskin Hills complex. The agreement in 21, Trudy? With Commissioner Haslam.
The 6-inch meter?
Mm-hmm.
That was
2021, Commissioner Haslam come to us. They wanted to put in the snow hill. We said, okay, that's fine, but we want 1 meter for everything. So we put the 1 meter right on the highway, well, I don't want to say highway, but the county road right there. And so everything is metered off of that. That's really the only infrastructure we have ever done. That was all put in by a private company, I believe. The county did do some of it, but they, to my knowledge, I don't remember how much they actually did. But that's all the infrastructure that has taken place.
And you brought the water to that meter?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, we were the delivery.
To the edge of the
Yes.
Buckskin Hills, yes.
And so everything that you guys are currently consuming, it is all metered off that 6-inch meter. The others, you know, if you want to, they are still functioning, but it really doesn't do much good unless you're wanting to know exactly how much water your RV hookups are using in the Speedway. One of the hydrants, we did narrow it down. Our previous water operator, he did narrow it down to the one hydrant in the back by the Speedway. Obviously, it gets dusty. They were watering it there. we were, you know, it's not metered. So that was part of our reasoning to try to get that out to the road to where it's all done. So,
So that is metered now?
yes, yes, it's 100% metered, and, I don't remember what's the current usage that they're using now?
1 to 3 acre feet per year. And when we did the Trudy Wheeler, we did the 6-inch meter and waived the impact fees for that. And that was
How much
part
is
of-
that typically?
We don't have an impact fee for 6-inch
6
meters.
inch, yeah.
We only go up to 2-inch meters.
What's
But-
the impact for a 2-inch, do you know?
17,000, I believe.
I think that's the total, I believe it's around 12.
Yeah.
But part of the 2014 agreement was acre feet in exchange for the impact fee.
And the 44 that Lauren has been kind enough to get worked out between us and them, us and the county, is the 44. So
Okay.
originally it was agreed upon the 50, and you guys did get the 50, so, you know, whatever, 44 is
Appreciate that,
fine. Yeah.
definitely. Okay,
So,
any other questions?
I did have one that just came to my mind. I was trying to remember.
I had a phone call this morning from an individual who works within the county and saying he had a list of notes from this project and wanted me to review them. I just got back. I have not had time to go over those and review his list of notes. I know we've had these discussions. We've kicked the can down the road. Lauren's worked on it. I don't know what's in that, but he thought I needed to look at them, so I bring that up, and I guess, Lauren, if you think it's pertinent, or if you're comfortable, or whatever, then,
Excuse me, sorry, if I'm comfortable with looking at those notes, I didn't
no,
know you
no,
had
I
any
know
notes.
you'd be comfortable looking with them if, you know, I guess if I'm gonna look at them and review them like I've been asked to, I would need some time.
Oh,
I would
okay.
need another, you know.
And that's the commission's decision
Yeah.
of what you'd like to do. I also did want to include that with this contract, with this agreement, we still pay for the water that we use. So it just involves those 44 share. We will still be a water user and we'll pay to Jensen.
Oh, that's something I
what we
was going to
use. Yeah,
ask
I
is,
forgot
can
to
the
add that.
44 pay for the water that we're using?
No.
Okay.
That was a separate, that we'll pay what we use.
the county still has 75 acre feet of the 144 that was there. They still have 75 acre feet. That, according to the original agreement set up in 2009 and 14, the 75 is still allotted for the Buckskin Hills. And the way it'll work with Uintah Water Conservancy District, I wish William or John were here. We'll keep track of what you're using. They can then do their transfer deal, whatever. It all over my head sometimes, but anyhow, they can keep track of that to where that allotment comes out of the 75. And we will then just charge you treatment costs, what Ashley Valley is charging us. Does that make sense, or?
Does to me.
So commissioners, as you know, you can approve this, you can decline to approve it, or you can table it, as you said, if you wanted more time to consider this new stuff that's come up. So that's within your purview.
Okay, anything, ask for a motion?
Can I make a comment, just real quick? Would it be appropriate to ask for a couple minutes to step out with the commissioners into the hall and just have maybe recess just for 2 minutes and have that discussion? You all right with that?
And that would be up to you if you feel that was needed. You could do that.
And that's okay?
All right, we'll be in recess for 5 minutes. Sorry. It still says draft on it.
What's this one here? Oh, Sears Canyon.
I was talking to Mr. McCagney. I didn't. I just went out and talked to McCagney.
That's why I came back in.
Yeah, and he wandered down talking to John. Okay, we're back on the record, 3:25. All right, Commissioner LaFever has met with Attorney Anderson. I have met with Mr. McCagney and been informed more and more on water, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Any further discussion?
I do have a question, probably for Jensen Water, or maybe the county. Turn your mic off. Oh, sorry, I thought it was on. I do have another question, if I could. I'm just trying to understand, I have been reading through all this information, but when this agreement was made, you're not paying us for the 50 acre feet, we're giving you the 50 acre feet for what? Or now it's 44? Okay, but I was looking at the 12-inch impact fee that you told me, even if you, the 2-inch.
Correct.
Even if you quadrupled that, let's say, for a 6-inch, I don't know what a 6-inch would be, so I just quadrupled the 2-inch,
Right.
or tripled, then that would be 36,000. But how much is 50 acre feet of water worth perpetually? Does anyone know?
That
I bet you
depends
Mr.
on where you live, I
McCaskey would
guess.
know.
If I may, back in 2014, when we purchased these water shares, we paid $280,000 for the total amount.
For the 144, right?
Yeah, for the 119.
Oh, I mean 119, sorry.
Yes. But as of today, I don't know.
And you said it was 200 and what?
80.
Okay.
So, I'll
Yeah.
let Gail speak then.
Gail McCackney, I represent the Jensen Water District. The agreement was that the county needed water. Jensen had a water line that served the Jensen District people. When you build a water line, it costs a lot of money. So if you're gonna take water to a new subdivision or a house, the law permits you to make as part of the connection fee what the impact is on the system. So this agreement said, in lieu of paying cash, the county would supply 50 acre feet of water to Jensen to use in their system, cheaper than cash, and you went and the county went and bought the water from the Conservancy District. This is Red Fleet water. And so that was the agreement then. The county was to acquire the 50 acre feet plus some more that's referred to in the agreement. When they acquired it, it never got transferred to the Jensen District. So we're just fulfilling that old agreement that never got completed.
Right, thank you, I appreciate that. I just was trying to understand in my head, because I'm familiar with subdivisions and when they build and the impacts and things like that. So I was just trying to put numbers in my head for these different things. I wasn't questioning the agreement. Thank you.
Any other questions?
You have any? You have any more questions?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the water, what would we call it, an exchange?
Call
To
it the water allotment transfer
a
agreement.
water allotment transfer to the Buckskin Hills complex as per the agreement between Uintah County and Jensen Water District, Improvement Water District.
Of 44.
Of 44 shares.
Acre feet,
44 acre feet.
okay.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I will just say, after visiting with our legal there, Lauren, and some of the concerns I had from my conversations this morning. I feel like that he in good faith has run all that down the road, and I accept his opinion and take his counsel to move forward on this.
Okay, we'll call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Mr. Campbell, you're on. Bid award for the airport utility project.
Good afternoon to the commissioners and good afternoon to the community. As many of you may be aware or may remember, the county allowed Vernal City to use the potential of a grant. It's called a Rural Communities Opportunity Grant. And once they approved us to do that, we dove in and did all the paperwork, got everything approved. We were approved, as previously discussed in another meeting, for a grant of $250,000 to do some utility work out at the airport to hook utilities to a taxiway that I built just south of the operations building that I'm in called Delta Taxiway. We have a building now that's going to go up on that building. That grant was for $250,000. Then the airport budget, which is built from 75% of Uintah County ownership and 25% Vernal City ownership, provided 33% of that grant. So the total grant value is $400,000. After that, Jones and DeMille laid out a bunch of contract opportunities for local contractors, and we have accepted a contractor, BHI, to do that work for us. So this is simply an announcement of the fact that we ran those bids and we've accepted BHI to complete that work, and they'll start as soon as is logical. Anybody have any questions?
Sorry, you said the grant was 400 or 200?
The award of the grant is $250,000, but with a match of another $150,000 from my budget at the airport, which consists of 75% county and 25% Vernal City ownership for the public's knowledge. So a total of $400,000 in that grant.
Okay, thank you.
That, let me see if there's any statements I'm leaving out here. I think that should get us
Would you please tell us what that's going to include?
all utilities. So you get out of that, well, no, I take that back. That will not include all utilities. That's going to be sewer, or in this case, septic out there, and then gas. I'll have to run electrical myself and what's left? Water. So I'm wrong again. Water, electrical and gas all run, and sewer and water this grant will cover. Does that make sense? There's a confused look on Commissioner Larson's face. What did I mess up?
Very confused, but that's all right. I'm confused all day
So
today.
that's included in the total, though, the 400,000? You'll be able to run all the utilities, or the
Half.
400,000 is just for the
400,000
septic
is septic and water.
and water?
That's correct.
That'll do, 400 does septic and water.
I will spill over anything left over onto those other two utilities as I drag them in.
Okay.
Great.
Questions, comments? I don't know if we need a motion or how that all works, but there it is.
It says approval, so I'm assuming we have to approve that.
Your choice, not mine.
Lauren, do we need to approve it? We've already approved him. I don't think so.
You're just telling us that you.
That's correct. I think with Vernal City being the managing authority and the interlocal agreement that we have, that probably allows for this just to be an announcement.
Right.
Thanks for it. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna beg to partner on that one.
Yeah.
Because we're the 75% holder, are we using any federal funds on this project?
No.
Or this is coming out of those funds?
That's correct.
Okay. If it was gonna be federal funds, they're the managing entity, but we're the we're the grant receiver on them.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I'll go back to Lauren on that one.
Okay, thank you.
That would be done when we.
On a different project like well, in fact, the taxiways were done just like Mr. Wilkins is talking about, but this doesn't count that way. This is just that grant that the county loaned us the ability to use the grant. As soon as we close this out, that ability will go back to the county, and it should be clear. We'll get that done as quickly as possible. But no federal funds will be used on these utilities.
I don't think it would hurt to approve it though, would it? I don't think it would hurt for the governing body too, because we are still a major owner of that, to just agree with it, but.
An
that's
approval
up to-
could perhaps
Approval
cover
would
that
be-
$150,000 use inside of my budget. It's probably not, your choice.
And we would be doing that also when we do have the contract. We'd have to prove the contract with BHI and do all that. Right now, we've just accepted
That's
the
correct.
award and that. So you can do that, and it would be fine, because it does say approval, bid board approval, or you can wait until you do the contract.
I have Bart from Jones and DeMille in the audience. If anybody has any more specific questions, he's been kind of running the back paperwork for me on that. He's in the room if anybody needs that.
I'm good. I'll call for a
If
motion.
Ken's touched it, it's clean.
Yeah, I wouldn't always count on that, brother.
Well, I know he is very thorough.
He's
yes.
very, very thorough.
Okay, I'll call for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion then that we approve the bid award for the airport utility project, it's septic and water.
I'll do all four if you don't
Just
mind,
do
just in case
everything.
there's a
All
spillover.
utilities.
Okay, for all the utilities, with the grant being a total, the project being a total of $400,000, and we're utilizing a $250,000 grant, and the city will pay 25%, and the county 75% of the remaining amount through the airport funds. Does that sound right?
At 150,000, yes, ma'am.
150,000, yes.
Any discussion?
Good.
Call for a vote?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. All right, Mike?
Michael Cook, Uintah County Trails Manager. Daggett County has requested that we join them in issuing a request to BLM to reopen Sears Canyon. And we're doing that through a resolution that basically states that it's just a formal request for BLM to immediately initiate the process to reopen Sears Canyon. Sears Canyon's a road in Daggett County that accesses from Diamond Mountain down to the river. It's a historic road that's been around for literally almost hundreds of years now. So, yeah, and we used it for our ATV Jamboree for a while until the BLM wouldn't permit us on it anymore. And this is just to join with Daggett County and Flipco to initiate a request to reopen that. So.
Mike, if I may add, the Uintah County portion is Meldrew Road. That road is open. We have that as a county road in our map. This is just a courtesy for Daggett County. Once it hits the county line, it becomes the Sears Canyon Road. Daggett County's portion is closed. So we're doing this as a courtesy. It does not affect the portion of this road in our county.
Thank you.
Okay, call for a motion?
I'll make a motion to, accept this resolution and join Daggett County in reopening the Sears Canyon Road throughout Daggett County as presented by Mike Cook.
I would probably name the resolution,
A
R.
resolution? Okay, the resolution number is 02-19-2025R1.
Okay. Any discussion? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Can you lower the lights on your thing?
Well, of course I can. Be no better than that. Nap time.
We ready?
Nap time.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jason Blankenagel. I'm a resident of Uintah County, and I'm here to present and ask the commission to enter an agreement with SITLA. Basically, just for the general public, I'll go through this real quick. This is for the Asphalt Ridge motorized single-track trail system. Basically, the overview of it is dirt bikers in the Uintah Basin do not have a designated place to ride that is motorized single-track, and what we're asking for is the county to enter an agreement to lease trails on the Asphalt Ridge block for that. We want to create a world-class and responsible place for dirt bikers to recreate in the Uintah Basin, not just for the local residents, but for visitors as well. Asphalt Ridge is what we have mapped out as about 45 miles of motorized single-track trail. We'll show a little bit of this video if it'll show, showing what that trail looks like. A lot of it is in these wash bottoms where it's the ideal type of riding that we're looking for. This is a really good place. There's a large SITLA block. All of these trails are on SITLA land. We've been using a lot of these trails for desert races over the last year and for the dirt bike rally that we've had in the last 2 years. The sport is growing in popularity. There's a lot of really good and unique riding in this area that we're looking for. This type of riding is not the type of riding you would do just on a county road. This is, as you can see, very technical, very specific to what we're looking for. Go on. This is the mapped out trails that we have. You can see a lot of them are in the drainages. We utilize a lot of existing 2-track roads that are out there that are existing. Again, all of these trails are on the SITLA block. They don't cross over any private or BLM land. There are other leases on the land that are using it. There's leases for mining, and there's also leases for grazing in the area. We don't anticipate interfering with any of that. But what this does, this would give the county the ability to be notified if one of those other leases would impede on one of these trails that are being used. So this gives us a seat at the table more or less with SITLA. SITLA's objective is to benefit schools and institutions in the state with the highest and best use of the land. This presents a higher and better use than it's getting right now with just the grazing on a lot of it. And it's an additional use on top of the other uses that are happening that benefit SITLA. SITLA is able to pull money from their OHV fund. This comes from dollars that come from, this comes from dollars that are paid on registrations. Every registration pays $1.50 towards SITLA's fund. They, in turn, can use that money if it's used for OHV projects. So SITLA would, in turn, be paying themselves with this fund to lease this in the county's name. And we're asking that the county enter an agreement where they are the applicant. They pay a yearly lease, year to year. The reason why they wanted to do it year to year is because if a higher and better use came, that would give them the ability to shift or adjust these trails to accommodate that higher and better use. We are okay with that. We're aware of that stipulation, and as users, we accept that. But in the meantime, we feel like this would be a huge benefit to the community. 45 miles of trail where currently there is none designated in the whole Uintah Basin for this use. So that's ultimately what we're looking for. In the long term, we're looking to develop maps of this trail system, add signage out there, add barriers to keep the single track single, continue the maintenance of the facility of the trails, make sure that they continue to be in good shape and sustainable for our local users as well as visitors. And then ultimately, in the future, we'd also like to expand the system too. We've been in talks with the BLM on expanding the system to the west towards La Pointe and adding more to it in the future. So that's ultimately what we're looking for. We're asking that the commission enter that agreement with SITLA. It won't cost the taxpayers any money. Us users will as well as our county trails crews will help maintain the trails and the trail system as an in-kind match. But ultimately, SITLA gets paid from their own fund in your name. You become a pass-through for it. And then this becomes a huge benefit to the community. So with that, is there any questions?
Chair, I had one.
Go right ahead.
I didn't think about this until you mentioned the other lessees. Do they have to sign off approving you to do this on, is it in conjunction with their leases? Or is it a separate land than they're leasing?
No, it would be over the same land.
And so is there anything that says they have to approve this in their lease?
I don't think so. We'd have to, well, there may be some there. That's part of going through this agreement process, and you're kind of familiar with that with Dock's Beach and what's happened there, so.
So this would operate much like Dock's Beach, where we lease it for this purpose, these trails for this purpose, and they pay themselves. So there'd be little or no cost to the taxpayer. So SITLA has the right to lease one use over another, and in other instances, we've right now we're looking at putting a trail on a SITLA block, walking trail, and SITLA had us contact the other leasee and visit with them, and just, you know, so you work together, and that's the way this would operate. They would contact the other leasees, make sure there aren't any concerns, but ultimately SITLA has the decision-making power, I guess, would be the way to word that. One thing I'd like to clarify is, at this point in time, we're not necessarily wanting a approval of the lease, but more of an approval to move forward with the process and get the terms of the lease with SITLA and everything ready for final approval.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I just had that question because in my experience, some leases will have things written in there where it has to be approved, uses have to be approved by the leasees. So I just wondered if you'd looked into that.
And as part of this, SITLA would notify, and we would work with the other leaseholders. So.
Okay. Call for motion?
So we're just basically looking for a motion to support moving forward, correct?
Correct.
So I would make that motion.
I think, if I might jump in, Commissioner Norton, I believe with SITLA, it's going to require a government agency to, I don't think that they would accept a contract just with your group. I believe it would require a government agency, so we would probably be the party that would start doing this, and so it'd be, you'd ask county employees to start that process and to create a contract or come up with a contract with SITLA for this purpose, if that's.
That's my motion then.
No, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Any questions? Comments? I'll make a comment. I wish there was a way around getting government agencies involved in this, but that's the process we find ourselves in to move forward on anything. I don't think it's our place to be doing that, but if we want anything, we have to. I do like that that it's user fees to pay to play. I like that concept, and I believe in our other conversation, the work that may or may need to be done on there or any kind of fees from the county will be paid in kind. Again, is that correct? Again, that's people who's using it are either the money's either coming out of their pocket to play or in their time, donated time, and so I do like those concepts.
Yeah, this will mirror the Dock's Beach lease, where the main part of the lease will be paid out of that fund, and then Uintah County through volunteer will be. Dock's Beach is about $4,000 a year of in-kind service projects and stuff to pay the other portion, which is pretty easy you get 10 people up there working for a while with their machines, and you have the $4,000. And much of the maintenance and stuff will be with volunteer work from the group of the riders, so.
Anything else? Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Resolution 219-2025R2.
No, you skipped 10.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to be called Karen. Karen's first.
Good afternoon, Karen England, Library. I would ask the commission to request the approval of the Community Library Enhancement Fund grant from the State of Utah Department of Cultural and Community Engagement State Library Division. It is a grant that we get every year. It is in our budget. There has been some changes to the language in the grant, and I will let legal explain that one.
Of course. Karen, you did a great job. Yes. So, just so the commission is aware, this was originally passed to Sam Passy, who is no longer with the library. So they asked that it be signed by the end of February because it did not come to us because they continued to send it to Sam Passy. We can ratify it at this point if that's what the commission would like. If we could just change the name to Karen England, the new contact person. This is, as Ms. England stated, it's a yearly contract. They've added some provisions that legal has gone over. It hasn't changed the contract. We're getting a little bit more money this year, and we have to use it as required by them. And if we don't use it, we send it back or pay them back. There is one part, the indemnity clause, because the state of Utah is also a government entity. I would just like to put a little bit of language saying, hey, we're both government parties. We pretty much identify and we'll protect ourselves, which is what we try to do with all contracts instead of indemnifying them and them not having anything to do with us. Just to put in that language, which legal prefers in those types of contracts. Other than that, we're good with this.
Do you mind telling us the amount of the
Yes.
CLEP grant?
I apologize. It's $11,054.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions? Go for a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the CLEFT 2025 Library CLEFT grant contract as has been presented. Thank you.
Comments, questions? Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Matt.
Matthew Gehring, GIS. This resolution 02-19-2025R2 is changing a classification along a section of 6,000 North from a Class 1B gravel to a Class 1B paved, and then a resolution to update the Uintah transportation map accordingly.
If I may, Chair?
Yes.
If I remember right, this is a section that was paved, and we just needed to get it changed to that.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 02-19-2025R2 as presented by Matthew Gehring.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Matt?
Oh, thanks.
All right, good afternoon. Matt Kazir with Community Development. We have before you today a professional service agreement with Horrocks Engineers. This is to update our general plan with a water resource element, which is required by the state of Utah to update. This has been reviewed by legal. There were some changes that we wanted made to the contract with that had to do with liability and stuff. So Horrocks was good with the changes, and so those changes are reflected in the current, this current contract. The amount of the contract, it's on a per hour basis, but it will not exceed $10,800. The funds will come from a grant. $10,000 of these funds will come from a grant from the state of Utah. We just received that grant agreement, and we'll get that on another agenda here in the near future. But the other $800 will come out of the community development budget. We have those funds available for this. So with that, I present this to you for your approval.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
I would make a motion that we approve the professional services agreement with Horrocks Engineers for updating the county's general plan with the water resources element as required by state law in the amount of not to exceed $10,800. $10,000 will be paid by grant, and the remaining $800 out of, did you say community development funds?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Matt.
All right, thank you.
Sheriff?
Didn't read the agenda right. I jumped right up here and then realized I was out of line. Sorry.
Makes me feel better, thank you.
I just wanted to be in front of Matt. He usually takes forever. So short today. Okay, this is just the SRO contract that we approved a little bit ago. We wanted to make a couple of changes and in the process fix some spelling and grammar errors, but that I didn't make, by the way. I didn't write these. But I would have. So this, when I was reviewing this, there was no clause for any additional SROs, and so we would have had to do an addendum. So we just added, or Lauren added a couple of lines so that we didn't have to come back with an addendum for additional SROs. So that's the only changes to it.
Okay. Questions, comments?
Pretty simple and straightforward.
Yep. Call for a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the language and corrections in, what's it called, the intercooperative agreement with Uintah High School District as presented by Steve Labram.
Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Sheriff. Ms. Maddie?
Maddie Maynard with Tourism and Events. We have our Diamond Mountain Speedway rental agreement. The actual agreement itself and the language included was approved in a previous meeting. We just have the information from High County Dwarf Car Association, DBA, Diamond Mountain Speedway, who is our rental leasee for the year. So we just need a signature from Commissioner Larson and the Clerk-Auditor.
Have we checked to make sure they have a business license?
Good question.
Okay.
I say no, I don't want to sign it.
That's why I asked,
Looks like you
Mike.
both have to sign it.
Okay. Call for a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the 2025 Speedway agreement with Diamond Mountain Speedway as presented.
Vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Ms. Graven?
Hello, Tanya Craven, Human Resources. We have a couple of policies that we reviewed in work session, and they were also provided to Commission and what's the right side? And legal to review prior to our meeting. I did, however, come across one section in reviewing a previous policy that I wanted to provide as a possible option to what we had originally looked at. When reviewing one of our previous policies, I've found this section which is highlighted that was part of the original LTD policy. That policy that I'm referring to is no longer an active policy. We'll be discussing it tomorrow. But in that policy, it provided 2 years for the employee to be on the disability before it was the termination. And in the language that we had previously discussed, it was the 3 months of FMLA and then an additional 6 months of carrying them on into that before termination of employment. So I just brought that language forward because I thought that was very interesting that we had already had that in policy and wanted to know if the commission would entertain that term and then just write that into section A, where that had been in our policy before.
Do you have any information on why there would be the two different terms?
When I was working with other HR directors and our what are they? Our brokers, we were reviewing, and industry standard is what we have in our body in A. What we have in the highlighted is what the county previously provided as the benefit. That had been a standing benefit for the county for years. And then that was taken out of that policy. But when I found that when I was reviewing it for discussion yesterday, I thought that I would bring that in and let the commission have an opportunity to view that and see if they would be willing to allow that term, that longer timeline in the LTD policy. But like I said, it wasn't something, I just came across it today, so I know that you haven't had an opportunity to see that, but it is, the only change is going from providing 9 months to the 2 years that was previously there. Otherwise, all of the language is the same as what you have had and what legal has had.
9 months to what?
2 years. And 2 years was what was in the previous policy.
I appreciate the work you did on this, and I like the recommendation from our brokers and from industry. I'd like to stay with the 9 months.
Yeah, okay. Mike?
I would agree with that, other than if they wanted to keep on for them. Social Security disability for Medicare kicks in after 24 months of disability. So I agree with your 9 months.
However,
allow them maybe to pay the premium on their own. Because even this first 9 months, they need to continue to pay their share of it. And then after that, they would need to
so maybe
have
just
some burden in the to continue to be on the county's insurance.
They would have to pay the full premium.
Like a COBRA.
Like a COBRA.
Lauren, is this something we could look at, write some language, write it into policy to clarify some of these things?
Yes, yes.
I think that's what I would prefer to have happen.
Okay.
All right, we'll table this.
Oh, one other thing that I wanted to bring up
So there should
before.
be a vote on the tabling of it. So there should be a vote on the tabling of it.
I would make a motion, we table policy 460 until we can add the verbiage we would like.
Okay.
Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
In 460 also, just so that you are aware when you're looking through it, this is where you'll start, where it's also included in the URS auto opt-in. So that's been added. So just making sure that you're reading through the whole policy, because we do need to get that into policy before the July timeline, so that we're moving along with what we've already put it forward to URS. Okay. Then the other policy is policy 400. and that is the revision to FMLA. This is the policy where we discussed Section 7, I believe. Yes. So this was the section where if an employee at the time they're in FMLA chooses to not return to the county, that the county would have the ability to go after that employee to pay the insurance, to repay that insurance. And I'm requesting that this be removed. I don't see a reason why we would need to have that in there to try to recoup those funds from the employee. I don't see how we're going to, I mean, we could try and collect that through a collection, to try and have our clerk auditors try and get those funds in return, but I don't see how this is a good eye for the county, depending on the fact that they're out on FMLA leave, so they're out for a medical condition of whatever that is. And if they were to be able, if they need to choose to step away from their position at that time, that then we decide that, well, we want to try and recoup that insurance amount from you. So when I've been reviewing the policies, this was just a section that I came across of that seemed odd to me that it would be in there. So I thought it would be an appropriate thing to pull it.
They have to pay that, if I'm correct, though, during FMLA.
Yeah,
to
they're
keep it
paying their
going,
portion. Yeah, they're
right?
paying for their benefit the entire time they're on FMLA. What this states is that if they don't come back, then they have to pay the county's portion, right? But it was their benefit throughout the entire time that they were provided when they were employed by the county. So to then ask them, since you're not returning, now pay us back that money, I feel like that shouldn't be in our policy.
How long can they be on FMLA?
3 months, 480 hours.
So it'd be 3
12
months of
weeks.
premiums
Mhm.
that we would be requesting if we kept number 7.
Yes.
If I may jump in, I agree with what the HR director is advising. In a way, it's throwing good money after bad. There's no guarantees we would collect it. I don't think the amount is so great that it would pay for the cost of trying to recoup that money.
Thank you.
I appreciate we're saying it does have a feeling to me of being a little bit open-ended, which is, it doesn't feel good, but I understand what he's saying and saying, the cost to recoup wouldn't be worth it, but, I don't know.
Go ahead, Mr. Wilkins.
All right, Mike.
Also, this is a very rare event. Most people, when they're on FMLA, it's sporadic throughout the 12 months from the time it starts. Someone goes on FMLA today, they have this 180 days for the next 12 months. It could be, it could be 8 weeks in a row and then they're back to work. But most of the maternity leave, they're 6-8 weeks and then they're back. But it's not going to be as very rare do I see.
It's very
have we
rare.
Seen that someone milked their 180 days and then say, okay, now I'm going to quit you.
Or did their intermittent leave and.
It's very intermittent. So I'm with everybody else. It's not worth going after, and it is very rare that actually they do that and then quit us.
I would see the value in, someone having a major illness, maybe cancer or something, and being gone and have to come back and being gone, and then progress, that feels good, that we would take care of them, but it still just feels a little open-ended.
Well, that's why I asked the term, because I'm thinking 3 months is the only open-ended part.
Yeah.
So it is 3 months of.
Yeah.
Anything else? Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amendments to policy 400, leave as presented by Tonya Craven, Human Resources.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Okay, the next thing is there are 2 contracts for signature with the Department of Workforce Services. One is a paid internship and the other is an unpaid internship. These are both for what is considered youth, and DWS considers youth 18 to 24. And this just needs our signatures of County Commission to approve us being able to get our contracts up and going again with DWS so that we can start trying to recruit at the high schools, at the colleges and whatnot to get those interns in and working for our county in all the different departments that could use an extra hand.
Great. I did talked with Tanya about this last year when they came and brought this to my attention, that our contracts, I don't think we were aware that expired. And so she's been working on that. So I appreciate her getting that.
So this is something that has happened previously, and we're basically reinstating it?
Yes.
How did the program work previously, and was you able to pull people out of this program, and have them become employees and add value?
I don't believe that we had people come in as an intern and then work into a full-time employee, but what we were successful in were bringing in youth and providing them work experience, and then we were reimbursed for their time. We have them on our payroll if they're being paid, and then the DWS reimburse us. And that's one of the programs, and that worked out very well. We were able to utilize them in facilities, we were able to utilize them at the library, and we just send in their payroll stub that shows how many hours they worked. And so it was very successful that way. And then, but now we also have an unpaid leave one, or unpaid, that we're able to use as well. And I've already been in contact with Travel and Tourism about how that could be very successful with their program as well, so.
Was there any kind of, I realize they weren't full-time employees, but was there any kind of exit strategy or exit interview kind of thing about their experience and maybe why they chose not to lock arms with us going?
Well, typically they're working in to gain that experience. It wasn't their choice to not stay on with the county. It was the matter of time that we didn't have the open spots at the time.
Okay.
It would be ideally if we could bring someone in and work them for those couple of months and see if it is going to work out, or if we have a good relationship with them and they have one with us, then we could work them into that permanent position.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I would think a lot of students might want to do this as well before they leave for college, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just kind of a summer internship, or even when if we can get them in high school. And so that's another reason a lot of them, I would think, would leave the area to go to school or just do other things.
Okay.
Okay, I just would ask for a signature for these.
I would make a motion that we approve the Department of Workforce Services contracts for paid and unpaid internships as presented by Tanya Craven, Human Resources.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, ordinance 02-12-2025-01, adding change 201, meeting procedure for the county commission.
So, Commissioners, Utah code requires a government body to adopt rules for their meeting, how they make motions and procedures, what they follow. It is recommended that the Uintah County Commission adopt the Roberts Rules of Order for small boards, which, because you're a small board, you're three people, gives a little more leeway, such as the commission chair can make a motion other than just the two remaining commissioners. So we have put this in an ordinance adopting the Roberts Rules for small boards, and we would just ask that you pass that as required by Utah law.
Okay.
Did we need to state anything about what we were doing as far as no second and chairman can vote, or that's in the rules?
And that's in the rules that we have adopted, yes. And it does explain, I just gave a preview of it. It does have the rules in here that we have adopted.
So let me clarify with that, without the second, but allowing the chair to make a motion, that kind of fixes that? kind of problem for the second and gives you another option.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it lets small boards have more options than being stuck all the time.
Okay, any further questions?
I would make a motion that we approve ordinance number 02-12-202501, as has been presented.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Anybody want to make a public comment?
Oh, board appointments?
Oh, yeah, I gotta do that, don't I? Been a long shift. Started at 6:30 this morning. Anyhow, let's start with the mosquito abatement people. They have one board member that's, we missed on. So I would recommend that we appoint Dean Bell. He's been on the board and his term would run for 4 years, starting January 1st of this year. Any questions?
No.
Comments?
No.
Motions?
You can make your own motion.
I'm a little close to this one.
Well, usually you do.
I'll make a motion to approve Dean Bell to the Board of Mosquito Abatement as presented by Commissioner Larson.
Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Now's my chance for public comment. Does anybody want to make public? Are you going to make public comment or Matt public comment?
An announcement.
In other words, do I have to
Sorry,
read
like the
this
sheriff
darn
said, I
thing?
didn't get my time in today, so I need to sit back. So,
Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, in the work session I did, this goes back to this contract. I did state this in the work session, but the contract does have my signature on there, so I wanted to make sure that was clear today, that I'd be the one signing the contract, so.
On which one is that?
Sorry, this is on the Horrocks.
Oh, engineering.
Works engineering, yeah.
Professional services agreement. So, just want to make sure that was clear on the record.
Okay,
Okay, it's on the record.
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
If I may make a comment also, as I've been thinking out, I probably messed up and we should not have stopped the meeting when it pertained to the Jensen Water Improvement District. But just to be clear, the board did not meet. We did not discuss anything. I did step out and speak with Commissioner Lefevre, and that was it. So I was just thinking I probably shouldn't have done that. But just to be clear, we did not deliberate or anything off the record.
I did make a decision off the record that I know absolutely nothing about water rights after talking to Mr. McCackney. All right, anybody else? Mr. Lefevre, you're on.
Adjourned.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
You forgot to read that.
Yeah, let me find my deal. I make the motion that we adjourn to closed session, and from there we will adjourn this meeting. That work?
On completion
where are
of
we
closed
meeting?
session.
Where are we meeting?
In the small commission chamber.
Conference room.
Conference room. Get me lined out one day.
You're doing good. Okay.
I'll shut up, but I think you need to say what your meeting closed session for,
Yes,
and then the end of the closed session, we'll re-adjourn and then
Yep,
we
take
will
it all.
adjourn.
back in session
Make
and
sure that
adjourn.
yes.
She gets some.
So
What
we'll
Mike
make sure
said.
she has that.
Okay.
Is that your motion, Commissioner?
That is my motion.
Do we have a vote?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
So we're adjourned out of here.